so I have the opportunity to tell you a little bit about my life as a policy analyst, and hopefully to try to put some of this panel and perhaps other panels into that context. So my job as a policy analyst is to analyze the effects of proposed regulations. We have a comment period that is open until midnight tonight on this safer, affordable, fuel-efficient vehicles proposal. So anyone who hasn't gotten in public comments and is interested in doing so, you still have till midnight. So in providing our analysis, we're trying to provide the best available science to the decision makers. We're trying to provide, as much as we can, something that resembles facts and key information. As I think probably everyone in the room knows, though, the scientific process is not a straight line. There are a lot of individual research efforts, some of whom will go in the same, will find similar conclusions, some of which will contradict each other. But my goal is not to try to do typically not to do cutting-edge research, but instead to try to synthesize all the work that's out there and try to find the underlying nuggets of facts. Even if it's surrounded with a tremendous amount of uncertainty, we're aware of that, but the better the information we have in our analysis, the better the information is that we're collecting, that we're providing to decision makers. So what we want from academic research, as much as possible, is not just to tell us what each individual paper knows, but putting it in the overall context of the literature so that we do get this deeper understanding that we can pass along to decision makers. At a very high level, this panel is about vehicle demand. Why do people buy the vehicles that they do? If you were at TE3 last year, you would have seen a paper presented by David Green, in which, as a policy analyst, and Robert Beach is one who's floating around here is one of the other co-authors on it, we tried to pull together a lot of literature on what do we know about consumer vehicle choice modeling. And we looked at willingness to pay for vehicle characteristics coming out of these studies, and what we found was a lack of consensus. There are lots of studies out there, but they haven't been pulled together. We haven't yet headed toward some fundamental understanding of for instance, the role of fuel economy in people's purchase decisions. This is a key parameter for us, and we don't have a good handle on it. And it was true with the other parameters in the model as well. Or the other vehicle characteristics. We don't understand how these things come together. So the two papers that we're going to see here are very good papers. I'll let each of the authors talk about them a lot more than I'm going to talk about them. They do a nice piece of analysis. But each of them is a piece of the puzzle. It's not at this point, I'm not ready, at least as a policy analyst, to say that these are the end of the puzzle, that we have solved these questions. So my challenge to all of you out there, as you're doing your research, as you're reading other people's research, is to think about how each piece fits together. What have we learned? If you're getting results that differ from everyone else's, why is that? Is it different places, different data sets, all these different kinds of conditions? Because that will make my life a lot easier as an analyst, to the extent that we can learn more about where the consensus is and what the consensus tells us. Then we're going to be able to do a better job of providing information to decision makers, and that, we hope, will lead to better decisions. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dave Rapson.